Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Absolute Biopharma. This is the second part of COVID-19 video. In this video, I am going to discuss about the information related to COVID-19 vaccine. So let's get started. So in 1796, Edward Jenner injected material from a cowpox virus into an 8-year-old boy by expecting that this would provide the protection needed to save people from deadly outbreaks related to smallpox virus. It was a success. The 8-year-old boy was inoculated against the disease and this became the first ever vaccine. But why did it work? To understand how vaccines work, we need to know how the immune system defends us against contagious disease in the first place. When foreign microbes invade us, immune system triggers a series of responses in an attempt to identify and remove them from our body. So the signs of immune response working are coughing, sneezing, inflammation, fever. We experience all these immune responses which work to trap, to deter, and to get rid of the body-threatening things like microorganisms. These innate immunity responses also trigger a second line of defense called adaptive immunity. Special cells called B cells and T cells are recruited to fight microorganisms and also record information about them, leading a memory of how invaders look like and how to fight against them. Now, this becomes handy if the same pathogen invades the body again. But despite this response, still a risk is involved. The body takes time to learn how to respond against pathogens and to build up these defenses, and even if their bodies are too old or too young to fight back against the pathogen when it's invaded, it might face very serious risk if pathogen is particularly severe. But what if we prepare the body's immune response ready before someone even got ill? This is where vaccines come in. Using the same principle that the body used to defend itself, scientists use vaccine to trigger the body's adaptive immune system without exposing humans to full-strength disease. So if you see overall, the vaccine can be defined as a mild dose of pathogen that is injected in the body of a human being to generate or to trigger the immune response. Let us see how many types of vaccines are there. Live attenuated, inactive vaccines and subunit vaccines. Live attenuated vaccines are made up of pathogens itself but much weaker and tamer version. Inactive vaccines. In this, pathogen have been heat killed. So in both the vaccines, live attenuated and inactive, the weakening and inactivation of vaccines ensure the pathogen doesn't develop into a full disease, but just like a disease, they trigger an immune response, teaching the body to recognize and attack by making a profile of pathogens in preparation. Downside of the live attenuated vaccine can be difficult to make, and because they are live and quite powerful, people with weaker immune system can't have them. In subunit vaccines, they are only made from the one part of the pathogen called antigen. The ingredient actually triggers the immune response by even further isolating specific components of antigens like proteins or polysaccharides. These vaccines can prompt specific responses. So in this figure, you can see clearly a virus is there. The weaker version of the virus is injected, then it will become a live attenuated virus. And if it is heat killed and it is injected, then it will be an inactive vaccine. And if a part of a virus like spike protein or a polysaccharide part is used to prepare the vaccine and to trigger the immune response, then it will be a subunit vaccine. So let us see how many types of COVID vaccines are there in India. Right now, 2 vaccines are available. They are Covaxin and Covishield. So here I have shared the information related to the vaccine in the form of questions and answers. So let's get started. Do we need to take a vaccine? Yes, we all must get vaccinated against the virus. So it takes 7 to 10 years to make a vaccine. How can a COVID vaccine be accomplished in 1 year? So as I have discussed in my previous video, COVID-19 is a new strain of virus from the family of SARS and MERS. The foundational step at preliminary stages and animal testing are drawn from these researches, and researchers were able to smoothly proceed to the clinical trials to develop vaccines. So let's see the phases involved in the clinical trial. In simple terms, we can divide it into three parts. First is small scale up, then comes process validation, then third one is large scale manufacturing. Preliminary stage, non-clinical animal testing, clinical trial phase 1, clinical trial phase 2, clinical trial phase 3, then licensing and marketing. So the duration for preliminary stage is 2 to 5 years. For non-clinical, it is 1 to 2 years. For clinical trial phase 1 to phase 3, it will take 4 to 8 years. Then licensing and marketing, it will take 4 to 5 years. So in preliminary stage, it will include antigen identification and vaccine development. So whatever the R&D work is included, that will come under preliminary stage. Next, the safety and immunogenicity testing is done in non-clinical animal testing. So in phase 1 clinical trial, the drug's immunogenicity is checked in 20 to 100 healthy volunteers. Then in phase 2, same immunogenicity is checked in hundreds of volunteers. And then in third phase, the population will increase up to thousands of healthy volunteers. So if we correlate this chart with our Covaxin and Covishield, the preliminary stage and non-clinical animal testing has already been done with the SARS-CoV and MERS-CoV. So that data is used for clinical trials phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. So for our two vaccines, the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials are going on, and according to that data, the drug is available in the market. And if you want to know more about the clinical trials, you can refer my video on GLP part 1, that is Good Laboratory Practices part 1. In that video, I have covered all the stages of clinical trials and their detailed description. So how many vaccines are there in India? Covaxin and Covishield. Covaxin is developed by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, and NIV, National Institute of Virology. Next is Covishield. It is developed by Oxford University in collaboration with AstraZeneca and Serum Institute of India. So which vaccine should be preferred? Whichever vaccine is available in your state, that can be preferred, because the supply is very limited in India and both have good efficiency against existing strain. How the vaccine is administered? COVID-19 vaccine is administered through intramuscular route in the deltoid muscles. If you want to know what are the various routes of administration of a vaccine or any medicine, then you can refer my video on biopharmaceuticals by clicking on the I button. Next question comes, how many doses of this vaccine will be given? There will be 2 doses of this vaccine that will be at the gap of 28 days. So is it compulsory to take both the doses? Yes, of course, it is mandatory to take both the doses, as in first dose it will activate the immune system. It will take time to recognize the vaccine. Here antibodies are formed and memory cells are formed. In second dose, it will quickly activate the immune system and the vaccine recognition is very fast and more antibodies are developed due to memory cells. Is it okay to get one dose of Covaxin and the other dose of Covishield? No. Both have different constituents and both work in different manner, as one is inactivated vaccine and other one is recombinant vaccine. What are the side effects of vaccine? They can be fever, headache, fatigue or pain at the injection site. So for how many days alcohol should be avoided in case of alcoholism? 45 days. Are pregnant women and lactating mothers supposed to take the vaccine? No. Last question, can we avoid using mask and maintaining social distancing after getting vaccinated? No. Once, even if we got vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus, we are not supposed to stop using the mask and we have to continue maintaining social distancing, as getting vaccinated does not give the surety that you won't get affected by COVID-19. It will only decrease the probability of severity of COVID-19 in the people. but it won't give any assurance that the person who got vaccinated won't get affected by COVID-19. So that's all in this video. These were some of the questions that I thought were worth sharing with you guys. So get vaccinated as soon as possible and stay home, stay safe.